night and joining us from Houston. A good friend of ours, used to be up in these parts before he went to Texas, went all Texas on us. Joel Blank is on the Houston Rockets broadcast crew. Joel, how you doing, my friend?
Good, fellas. How you doing tonight?
Well, we're doing well, and we're kind of breaking down the Blazers' victories over Denver and San Antonio and talking about the interior a lot. We had Joel Freeland on. We've talked about LaMarcus Aldridge, how well he has played early in the season. Now we get to Houston. Of course, the Rockets have to deal with the Clippers tonight and then come up here. Talk about the excitement, Joel, down there with Dwight Howard inside, and things look like they're meshing really well already, and that's a tough thing to come up with that kind of chemistry early on with a guy who's a centerpiece. It looks like they're getting there quickly.
Yeah, they really are, guys. I mean, I think the one thing that we all kind of didn't know how it was all going to play out. We've heard the stories about Dwight in the past. At the broadcast meetings, I was talking to everybody with Orlando, just trying to get a lay of the land on Dwight. But one thing from the get-go was that everybody was committed to Dwight Howard and getting him acclimated to this team as quick as possible. That started with the whole team going out to Los Angeles for a week and working out with him once he signed the deal. Then Jeremy Lin went out and other guys went out individually to work with him on pick and roll and some of the things that are staples in the Rockets' new offense. And then the biggest key was the trip to Asia, where they went to the Philippines and they went to Taipei. And they did everything as a team while they were gone for 10 days. And it really bonded everybody together, and it got everybody to get to a different place in terms of off the floor, not just on the floor, but off the floor, because they spent so much time at team dinners and team functions and tourism, things that they had to do. It brought the team together very quickly, but even I was skeptical. The preseason, they only lose one game. They had that game won. It was the first game of the preseason, and then they let their bench come in, and they a big lead late. But overall, the chemistry has been phenomenal. And the one guy that seemed to be the odd man out going into the season was Omer Asik. Everybody thought the minute that the Rockets signed Dwight Howard, Omer would be on the way out, and they'd be looking to make a trade for a power forward. But instead, Kevin McHale steadfast said all along, this is my guy. This is a guy that's going to be a part of our team, and I can play these two guys together. And a lot of skeptics were out there. But so far this season, they have played very well together, particularly on the defensive end, where they have just completely manned the paint and guarded the basket. But they're getting better on the offensive end, too. And with that, you see the Rockets having more success in their half-court offense, and especially when they get out in transition.
Joe, you look at what was made of Dwight Howard last year. A lot of people were worried that he and James Harden wouldn't be able to get along because of the way he reacted to Kobe Bryant. But James Harden is, first of all, cut from a different cloth. Second of all, neither of the guys is established in Houston. James Harden is almost as new to Houston as Dwight Howard is. So there's no established hierarchy necessarily. So Dwight Howard comes into a situation where he's one of, not one below. And I think that's been the key for the success they're having early.
Well, Anthony, I'll tell you the biggest thing with that is James established himself pretty quickly in the city. And obviously, he became the guy for the Rockets in terms of the fan base and the city and how they looked at, the new superstar and the changing of the guard in Houston. But James is a different breed than Kobe Bryant. James is lead by example, but doesn't like to say a whole lot. And he's very introverted. Even you guys have seen when he does shoot-arounds and he does interviews after games, he's not the outspoken guy that's going to say a lot of things in the media. He's going to let his play speak for itself. But on the practice floor and when he's with his teammates, he's constantly talking about what they need to do in terms of just their attitude and their professionalism and their attention to detail. And I think that that's what Dwight liked. Dwight wasn't really too keen on the way Kobe's style, kind of the way Kobe used his style to inflict everything about Kobe and his winning ways on the team in terms of a demonstrative kind of a dictatorship. James is more of, hey, Dwight, come on, this is the way we like to do it, but let's go, let's do this, and if it doesn't work, let's run a couple more reps on it. And the two of them really have gotten a chemistry very quickly off the floor, and they like the teamwork scenario of we'll be the veterans, we'll police the locker room, we'll make sure everything is done correctly on the floor, but we're not going to do that with that demonstrative dictatorship, pointing fingers and calling people out. And there's a way to do it without having to do it in the media, and I think they found that delicate balance very quickly. And I think from the meetings in L.A. when Dwight was still a free agent to the time that we're at now, I think Dwight really liked the fact that there is two ways of going about this, if not more. And Kobe's style wasn't really something that he felt was advantageous to his career. But James's style fits him perfectly, and the two of them have really meshed on and off the floor, and they've made the locker room a lot stronger. So have the veterans that the Rockets have picked up along the way.
Joel, it seems like when you acquired Dwight Howard, everybody thought, okay, Omer Asik, there's going to be a fire sale. He's going to be on the market. In fact, he even came out and said, I don't know if I can do this. I came here to be the starting center, and now they bring in Howard. And so I think everybody assumed he'd be gone, or at the very least on the block. Not to say that still won't happen, but they've shown they can play together, and that makes, obviously, that's a massive front line. Is Asik there to stay? Is this working? Can it work long term? These guys playing together. Howard essentially playing power forward with Asik being the center.
Yeah, Mike, I think one of the keys is that all those comments came from Omer's agent, first and foremost. And the Omer that the coaches know and love and the players know and love is not an outspoken guy. He just wants to bust his tail. He's one of the strongest guys that our big men coaches have ever worked with, and that goes back to the likes of Moses and Yao and everybody in between, Akeem. And they just loved Omer, the person, and they loved the way he worked at his craft every day and got better. So no one wanted to part with Omer, especially not right away. But there were lots of questions about if these two guys could play together. And what they found out very quickly is, one, Dwight was very open to the idea. He wanted Omer to stay on the team. It reminded him a lot of his days in Orlando when he had Marcin Gortat, and Gortat really made his life a lot easier because he could go and take a break, and Gortat could fill in the middle, and the Magic wouldn't lose a whole lot. In this situation, Omer Asik was never the one that actually you saw a quote from, or was the one that said, hey, look, I got to go. But obviously he wanted to start, and that was the most important thing to him. And with Daryl Morey, the general manager, and with Kevin McHale, and their commitment to saying, you can start, and we can try this and make it work, I think that right from the get-go put Omer's mind at ease, and he came in with a clean slate and a big, bright, bushy-eyed attitude of, I'm going to go do this, and we're going to see how it goes. But I think it's got a good possibility of working out. And then the key to all of it was you've got big men like Akeem Olajuwon and Kevin McHale teaching these two guys who played with other big men when Akeem played with Otis Thorpe, when McHale played with Robert Parrish. Hey, look, they basically said, Dwight, when I played with Robert Parrish in McHale's case, we were able to do this because when he's there, I was here. When I was on the high post, he was on the low post. The rotations happen when the ball moves, all these different things. And the guys took to it very quickly. They were students. They listened, they learned, and now they're implementing it. And it's still a work in progress. They're not even close to where they want to be, but at least early on, they've shown that they can be successful with it. And I think the key to all of this is the fact that they have to run. They ran last year because they only had one big man, and everybody's job one was to protect the middle and try and get in and cheat and get beat and live and die by the perimeter. But this year, because of those two guys, they know that Asik got used to running the break last year with Harden and those guys. Dwight's athletic enough that he can run. And as long as this team is in shape and they can play transition basketball and up-tempo, they don't have to worry so much about half-court offense and execution and where they need to be because they can get a lot of easy baskets off fast breaks, and that makes the Rockets' whole system work even better. Is they're predicated on making easy baskets to make life easier on the offensive end.
Now, we've talked about James Harden. We've talked about Omer Asik. We've talked about Dwight Howard. But to me, the guy that makes that team go or not go, the success lies in the hands of one player. And it may seem kind of weird to say, but Chandler Parsons is the glue guy. Mm-hmm. He's the guy that's going to win or lose for that team. It's something about his game that translates, and anybody can play with him, anybody can play around him, and he'll find ways to be successful and help the team be successful.
Absolutely, Antonio. And the reason why is because I've never seen in all my years in the NBA a kid that has come in that even when he experienced success has been more humble, has been more laid back, has been more willing to just say, what do you need me to do? And I'm going to do it. And that goes to off the floor things like appearances and getting out in the community and doing those things. And he was the biggest guy to go out and lobby and politic to get Dwight here. He was on him every day. He wanted Dwight here. He knew that it would be a great addition. And once they got him to Houston, he said, look, I realized last year I was relied on to score a whole lot more. Right now, all I'm going to do is do whatever I have to do to make this team better. On the defensive end, he has a long wingspan. He's extremely athletic. He used to do a great job on Kevin Durant, and that's where he started making his name for himself, and that's how he first got to start for the Rockets. And then as he felt more comfortable in the offense, he became a leader. He became more of a shooter. He became more of a guy that he liked being counted on, and the coaches liked being able to count on him. Now, because he's taken a step back in terms of the offensive importance of what he does and how he does it, he's learned that he's going to play third and sometimes fourth fiddle to the combination of Howard and of Harden. But he's okay with that because he wants to do whatever it takes to make this team win. And that's key because he's got a contract coming up, and he changed agents. He's got Dan Fagan, the same agent as Dwight Howard has, and he's going to want to get paid at some point. But I think that the one thing that he holds a lot of stock in, that the Rockets put a lot of stock in, is you don't have to score points in order to be rewarded. And they realize, because Daryl Morey is such a number-crunching general manager and focuses so much on statistical data, that he knows that when the plus-minuses come out and all the different numbers come out from a box score and from game to game, Chandler's going to fill up the box score, but not necessarily in the point category, although he does get his. He's going to do little things. He's going to get steals. He's going to get a lot of rebounds. He's got to do a lot of things in the passing lanes that disrupts a team's offense and gets the Rockets into theirs. And I think those are the things that the Rockets really value. So you're absolutely dead on. He is the glue guy for the Rockets, and he's a guy that they count on every single night. And people should not be misled by just seeing what he did in the point column. His value is so much more and so much more dedicated to all those other statistical categories and some of the things that we don't see in the box score that Daryl Morey and his staff see every day.
Joel, we appreciate the time. Nice to talk to you again. I normally only see you when we're in Houston, so nice to have you on the show. We'll have you back soon.
I appreciate it, guys. I got to get ready for Rockets Clippers, and I'm trying to hang on. I wish Wheeler was there because I know he's a Bears fan. The Packers and his Bears. I got too much going on tonight.
I think it's a good thing, though, compared to how dry it is over the summer. So, Joel, appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Joel Blank of the Houston Rockets broadcast team, and Joel used to be here in Portland. I think he got his start here in Portland. Started on like as an intern, didn't he, Buck? All right, so nice to see guys having success in other places.
We breed success around here.
Yes, we do. No, don't say that. You make it sound like we're a minor league system or something.